All right, looks like we're online, and this is good. All right, looks like we're online, and this is good. Okay, so I'm going to teach a little bit more about the virus. But in Buddhism, we have a tendency to work toward the cause, yeah, and then how to eradicate the cause. So in all of our meditations and all of our practices, we seek to clarify our mind and clarify our focus, clarify our intellect, clarify what we see so that the view we see is true. And then once we see that truth, and it's always bad, it's never a good truth, yeah, but once you see that truth, you start getting the formula on how to get rid of it, yeah, because it's a vice. And you have to actually identify the qualities behind that vice. How many vices, how many demons are in there? Each one has a name, each one is a vice, each one is a demon. So I'm really good at this. I can identify demons. I can even count them. Yeah, So, but it takes me quite a long time to bring those out for the rest of you to see. That's how I heal. It's not about me knowing the demons are there, calling them out, getting rid of them, and then you bring them right back. Yeah. So I have to teach you about these demons. Yeah, and then you get to get rid of them. Not me, but you. Yeah. So it's all a matter of what will be our outcome. If the outcome is good, you did a good job. If our outcome is disaster, you didn't do anything. You just figured I would do it. Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about you doing it. Yeah. So you have to help me find the source. Yeah. Find the reality. So I'm going to show you distinct situations that we have going on that are causing disease, dis-ease, yeah, and opening the door to a lot of demons, which brings about illnesses and disasters and weather disasters. Large amount of people die. This is a curse. This is not a normal manufacturing of a regular virus and some asshole in some area making the virus and sending it out and all those badass things you can think on an intellectual level. Yeah. Where I come from, it's not about that. Those are part of the symptom. They manifest afterwards. Yeah. So there has to be behavior. Yeah. There has to call upon demons, you have to behave in certain ways. Yeah. And it's in the action, the activity, like raping, murder, lying, taking advantage of the people, walking away, letting them suffer, and you continue on. But the deal is that you did this for enormous greed, avarice, totally avarice. Yeah. And it's not about humanity, it's about those who are carrying out the acts at this time are doing it under the force of avarice. It's the biggest in the angelic realm and in all evil realms of fallen angels. The evilest of the angel, the name of that angel is avarice. Yeah. So we are in the time of avarice. This is the age of avarice. Yeah. We can see all these rich people who built America. You can see all the rich people who stole the lands on all the countries, all because of avarice. Yeah? We see slavery. We see the ownership of people. We see rape. Avarice. Yeah? There's something inside the person that has to rape. Has to rape. That's why all these people who are perverted go, it's a disease. I can't get rid of it. How do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of homosexuality? They all go, it's impossible. You can't. No, because it's a demon. It's an action. Yeah, it's an activity. Yeah. When evil is action, yeah, it becomes the manifestation of a ceremony. Yeah. Just like sacrificing a child who's a virgin. on an altar in a satanic ceremony. Who does shit like that? Does that really happen? Is there anybody out there who takes a 13-year-old girl who is a virgin, ties her up on a bed, rapes her? Well, I saw, Rosemary's Baby. That happened there. The devil tied up Rosemary, people in the apartment building, the one that John Lennon was shot in. Yeah. That movie was the biggest open door rent. And the guy who did this sexual act was a manifestation of Satan, the person who wrote and performed the Devil's Bible. Yeah. A real live true person. But he was the highest priest of Satanism on earth. And they asked him to play the role. Yeah. And what's the outcome? The outcome is that no one stops it, the baby's born, and we all continue living. That's the end of the movie. Satan is born, and we all continue living. And now we all walk into the theater like, what the fuck? That is not what I expected. Satan incarnated. I watched it. I watched how it happened. And I saw it happen. Yeah? That's a ceremony. A ceremony. And we are in the time of the incarnation, manifestation of the evilest people that's ever existed are on this planet. And taking incarnation on this planet because of the coming of the Lord. This is their last time. This is the last moment. They have to dig in their heels and they have to carry out ceremonies. Those ceremonies have to be satanic. They must take little girls and rape them and go to countries and rape little boys, turn them into pedophile desire bodies. Yeah? But they have to be dressed as a girl. Strange enough, because it's part of the ceremony. Because in the gay movement, it says male, female is all one thing. Doesn't matter if you rape a girl or a boy, it's the same thing. In the homosexual movement, it's the same thing. Yeah? Androgyny kind of thing. I'm neither male or female. I can go either way. I can be bisexual. That one element that everybody goes, well, that kind of seems not so unnatural. Gay is one thing, bisexual is another. But bisexual is the door that allows you to be a pedophile. Yeah? And we have less than 5 years for the legalization of pedophilia. Less than 5 years before that's legalized. And it's already under action. It's already being written down in law. That it's something you cannot heal. You can't heal a pedophile. That's what they're saying. And as long as you can't heal, then they have the right to be who they are. Because who are we to say somebody doesn't have the right to be who they are? So this is literally just pulling in the ceremony into our daily lives. Yeah. Yeah. And Satanism becomes a major form. And we, humanity, become such disciples of Satan. Yeah. You elect him. You elect him and his entire breed. Yeah. His son-in-law comes with it. His wife becomes almost like vice president. You know. His daughter, head of something. The other daughter, head of something. The other son, head of something. What the heck did they do before this? What was their jobs? What was their orientation? What was their training? Why are they given the power to rule America? A family. A single family. Yeah. How did you do that? How did America do that? You have the right to say no. Yeah. But no one did. Because they're scared of this man, Donald Trump. Scared to the bone. Yeah. Because he is not who you think he is. And what does he do? Yeah. Well, he molests women 24/7. Any chance he gets. And now that he's the president, he's got to keep his hands in his pocket as much as he possibly can. But up until then, as we know, there were over 8 women who came up in file saying, oh, he molested me, he pushed me against the wall, he raped me, da-da-da-da. Yeah? And yet, you elected him as president. And there's one guy right now who would like to be president, and there's one lady who's saying, oh, he was advancing against me and he pushed me against the wall. One. And you're willing to kick him out. And nothing's being said about Donald Trump. He's still the same guy. He still did the same thing. But not one thing is being said about him molesting, raping women. Yeah? So does he really do that? You know? Is it just hearsay? Yeah? It's not hearsay. He was taped on a van, in a motorhome, when he was going from places to places. And at the time, one of the people in the motorhome had a microphone on. And the microphone taped what Donald Trump talks about on his normal daily talking. What he talks about is how he loves to use women and rape them if he can, because they have no power over him. And the moment he jumps on them, kisses them, grabs them, fondles them, gropes them, he's just having a ball. And he doesn't think anything of it. He thinks they have to do it because he's Donald Trump. Yeah, listen to this.
Here's why.
Down below. Pull the hell.
It's 2005. Donald Trump pays a visit to the set of Days of Our Lives.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Trump, how
nice
are you?
seeing you.
Pleasure
Terrific.
to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing, Ariane?
Notice their audio is good. We hear everything. You see, Trump and Billy Bush were mic'd before they arrived. So let's roll the tape back and listen to what they said before getting out to meet actress Ariane Zucker.
Jeez, your girl's hot in the purple.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, the Donald has scored.
Whoa.
Oh, my man. Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your leg.
Set this up.
That is
Will
very.
you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a.
The thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too.
Yeah, that's it. With the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the.
Grab them by the vagina. Yeah? Grab their breasts, kiss them, grope them, and walk away. Yeah? He does it all the time, so commonly. If you go through any of the women who made the comments about what he did, these are the things he did. He started off with that. Whether you came to him as an apprentice, he molested half of the women that were on the Apprentice. Where is that in the news today? Why isn't it? How come there's no conversation about this? None. Yeah? Because your soul is scared shitless. And it's getting smaller. And smaller by the day. As long as this guy's in the office, you will it. Yeah? If you collectively realize what I'm telling you, the power of Christ within us all will guide us as a group, and the people in the White House would turn on him. Every one of them. And people who voted for him would see him for who he really is and turn on him. Not in an aggressive way, but just in holy shit. He's killing people. Killing people now. Tens of thousands. We're almost to 80,000. We're going to reach over 1.5 million people getting sick, and it should have never gone over 50,000. It should have never gone over 500 people dying. Should have never gone over that. If you look at the comparison of other countries that are very small, that took over the situation, if we had followed the same route of even the worst country, we would have had more than 5,000 people die. But we have a demon in our, a demon that is a liar. He is everything that you don't want in a human being. You don't want him as a neighbor. Yeah. You don't want him as your father. Yeah. Now, why wouldn't you want him as your father? Yeah. Well, if you're a girl, well, you got a good chance he's going to rape your ass. You got a really good chance he's going to have strong sexual feelings toward his daughter. Because he's a demon. But is that real? Is that true? I'm just saying it because these are symptoms of his avarice. When you're as high in the evil category as he is, yeah, you'll find that the guy that killed himself recently, who was a pedophile, and he was really good at selling little children, gathering together for all the rich people in the world, the presidents, the kings, the queens, everybody who was a pedophile. He would gather them together collectively and then invite these people over to his mansion, and they would have group sex. Now, we know this is true. We know it's true. He killed himself because of it. He'd been put in jail once, he got out, caught again. But in this process, one of the girls that was in his group had sex with Donald Trump. Not once, but many times. Yeah. And there are pictures of Donald Trump in that house, standing there with the guy. Good old Jeffrey. Yeah. But still, no one really considers it. This little girl, 13 years old, was raped by Donald Trump. She was a virgin at the time. She was tied to a bed. Yeah? She did not accept the situation. She did not want to be in the situation. She thought that she was a model. She was only 13 years old. She had no idea that this other grown-up girls may be having sex, but not her. She never had sex before. Yeah. So he rapes her, knowing that she's never had sex before, ties her up on a bed, and like an animal, a beast, rips her clothes off and rapes her. And this is what she says about it. I'm not going to show her face because they won't allow this on YouTube. They'll stop me from putting it out, so I'm just going to let you hear what she has to say.
Said that I would do. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him he seemed to take a liking to me because I was I was so young, and I was also a virgin. So I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't really into having girls that were liked by the other guys. He kind of, the whole glove. He kind of liked things to be his first. If that, for lack of a better term, but he was the one who wanted to get to a girl before everyone else did. Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair, and so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me, but he took a liking to me.
And this girl
because I
looks
looked like his
identical
daughter.
to his daughter. So what else happened with Donald Trump?
It just felt like it wasn't a game. Yeah. The one night that I had the blonde wig on, he mentioned that I looked like, that I reminded him of his daughter. And actually the maid fantasy, I didn't have a blonde wig on. I was trying to stay away from blonde wigs at the time. But he actually told Tiffany that that's what he wanted me to wear. Like, he wanted it, and anytime I put it on, anytime I had it on and he'd see me, he would say, "Oh man, you look," and it wasn't like a, "Oh, you remind me of my daughter." It was this sick, evil, like, you remind me of my daughter. It was just this weird pleasure, sick smile. Like I don't even want to know what he was thinking about. I could imagine what he was thinking about.
And that's his little daughter. Yeah, she at the time was 13 years old too. They're both exactly the same age. And he got so excited about it, he had to rape her. Yeah, imagine that. Don't even bother. But this is his daughter. Yeah. Now let's take in consideration. He has this going on, and he has really strong feelings toward his daughter. What's the possibility that he did something to his daughter? Let me see here. Here's what Donald says after everybody, hears this tape, because he's lying to everybody. Oh, I would never do such a thing. Those ladies are lying. I would, and yet the tape is exactly what the ladies are accusing him of doing. So what can he do? He's got to do this.
Late tonight, Donald Trump posted this apology on Facebook.
Anyone who knows me knows these words don't reflect who I am. I said it, I was wrong, and I apologize.
Okay, he confessed. Yeah. So that's not one thing. He could not but confess. To him, it's the littlest thing. Yeah. Words, stuff guys say in a locker room. It is nothing guys say in a locker room. Guys don't say shit like that in a locker room. They don't. Yeah. It doesn't happen. Yeah. But this guy does. And it's not a locker room scenario. He is just so perverted in his process, he can't shut his mouth. And he can't stop his actions. You see it as president. He's behaving exactly like he does in the middle of raping someone. He's out of control. And he's just getting off on having power. It's 100% about having power. Power, money, and sex. That's Donald Trump. Yeah. So Donald, it's a strange thing if you think about it. He's got this perverted process to where he wants to have sex with his daughter. I mean, most people would think that's really going way too far. But let's take a look at his daughter and him being close to each other. How does she respond to that? How does she respond to being close to the man who rapes her? Well, she responds kind of like this. Look at that. Does that look like someone who's very close to her dad? Looks like someone who's raped by her dad. Back off, Daddy. No, Dad, not here, please. She's very uncomfortable. Considerably uncomfortable. And she's suffering beyond your wildest imagination. And she can't tell anybody. Nobody. I'll probably be the only person she'll talk to and tell. Yeah, and finally get it out. Yeah, there's no telling you what has gone on in this family. How much has gone on. Yeah. But we know that Epstein was the evilest person that we knew. The evilest person that we knew, that we caught. He was a seducer, a trafficker. We hate trafficking. Everybody hates trafficking. This was the head of trafficking. And he was trafficking little girls out of high schools, out of junior high schools, out of elementary schools, who would go to his house and be recruited by this lady friend of his. By the hundreds. And Epstein just turned him over to all these wealthy men. Yeah, and we just see one girl, who, she was only 13. Yeah, she'd never had sex before. She was raped by our president. Yeah. But not only that, she was going to try and come forth. That's what this videotape's about. Her videotape of telling the story. She was coming to the police, filing a complaint. But then she started getting phone calls. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family. No one's ever going to find you or your family. Nah. Scared the shit out of her. Then she gets another phone call. Have you stopped it? I'm going to kill you. Yeah. I mean, when Trump calls you and says shit like that, the President of the United States, and you're just a young lady who was raped by the same guy, and you're trying to come forth, you already got your family ready to destroy you. Everybody you've ever known is to disrespect you for the rest of your life. And you're going to come out and do something right for the country. That's what she's doing it for. She wants to do something right for the country because the country is making the devil into the president. Yeah. And you see all these religious bullshit people running around him, acting as though he's on the other side in a very dramatic, glamour-oriented way, as though he really is very holy. And all holy things are happening around him. But those are just more demons, more liars. It's a sideshow. It's a circus. And you're being used in an illusion. Yeah? You've got to break through this. This little girl was only 13 years old. You need to stand up for her. And all the many women, yeah, and all those who were taken down by Epstein. And as he said, he was his closest friend for 14 years. I got it on tape, so in case he ever says he didn't say it, I got a whole bunch of shit on tape. You know, news is fantastic. I record it, I hold on to it, and I listen to people lie. And they can't keep their lies straight. You know, one minute they're saying one thing because they're boisterous, they're egotistical, they can't control it. He does it all the time. And many people do that. And you need to try and do your best to realize this guy is on his way to killing America by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands. And if you elect him again, knowing that he raped a little girl, that he tied her up, forced himself on her, was in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, who surprisingly died in jail with no videotape and no guard interaction. Now, I've seen movies where presidents do shit like that and can get away with it. I've seen movies where very high officials get away with shit like that. Yeah. And I'm pretty darn sure if he committed suicide, it was a pact. Not that you're going to commit suicide, we'll both commit suicide, but I'm sacrificing myself to keep all of you safe. Yeah? So whether or not it was suicide or murder, it's the same thing. He's keeping it quiet and taking it to the grave. But the problem was that they found videotapes and pictures, which include Trump, in the home of Epstein, 4 of his homes. And Trump doesn't know all the information. Trump doesn't know all that's been found. And within the next 2 years, that investigation will be continued, even though the guy's dead. Yeah. Because it still is a process of finding out who went with him. Who's the lady that recruited everybody? Who's the people that paid him to do what he did? And it will include many people that are very famous, like the Prince of Wales, and and our president, and quite a few other people. Yeah. And it's only right to do our best, to realize that It's your ignorance. It's a lack of discernment that brings evil through the door. It really requires your discernment and discrimination. And God brings you, through revelation, the opportunity to not make that bad choice. Yeah? But your prejudice, yeah, your solar plex of being either I'm Democrat or I'm Republican, I've got to go this way, not that way. You know, those kind of issues, those kind of things does not allow you to discern and discriminate. It allows you to follow. And this guy's using that. Yeah? He's using that process. He's in the government right now. He's the president of the United States, and he's firing people left and right who want to do good, who want to tell the truth, who want to make a difference. And all he's doing is lying. He's telling everybody, well, we didn't have any supplies, and we weren't prepared, and and then ask him another question. So what did you do between now, at the time of January when you first heard about it, and March, when we were in the thousands and New York was already overtaken? If you look at it, look at his schedule. He played golf. And when they said, President, we need to give money to the people, he screamed for hours. Yeah, it's on videotape. Yeah, if you want to take the time to look. Yeah, there are reporters that were ushered out. Yeah, because other people were saying, we need to get together a budget so that we can help people at this time, and we need to get together billions and billions of dollars right now. His immediate reaction was, are you kidding me? It will ruin the economy. We cannot do that. Da, 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 da. On and on and on. Yeah. He wasn't going to give a dime. And when it came down to the trillions of dollars that were finally accepted, the American Indian says, well, hey, hello. We need 30 million. We do need, 30 billion. We need 30 billion. No less than 30 billion. We have a lot of people, and we are highly infected. President of the United States, after the bill got together and the people of his group looked at that, they said, I think 0 is efficient for the United States Americans, the Indians, the Americans. I think it's 0 we will give them. And we'll just go forward because no one's going to say, hey, did you pay off the Indians? Oh, hey, did you look into the old people in old folks' homes? It would never pass his mind while he's playing golf. Yeah. While he's complaining on China, and he's complaining on governors not doing their job, and he's complaining on this and that. Even the hospitals are asking for shit they don't need, he's saying. Imagine this guy. All he has to do is complain. He's not a doer. He doesn't care. His reaction is anger and hostility and absolute stupidity. There's not a word that comes out of his mouth that doesn't ring true with stupidity. Well, that was just plain stupid. Whoa. Yeah, wow, that was stupid too. Do what? Well, that's plain stupid. Yeah, take what? Okay, well, that's stupid too. Gosh. What else is he going to say? He just goes on and on and on. And then he wants to be given credit for his stupid ideas, as though no one ever heard of pandemic, Oh yeah, I knew this was a pandemic way before anybody else did. Way before. Yet just the day before he's telling everybody it's the flu and it's going to go away. Just the day before. And every day up to that. Yeah. So you have someone here that is doing satanic ceremony. It's his nature. It's how he got into the office. Yeah? At the time that we're thinking of him being president, he is wholeheartedly in this process of sex magic and money magic. Yeah? Let's take a look at one more thing. This is what the young lady now, who was 13 years old, this is what she said about her rape.
If my life changes because of that, then so be it. But the American people need to know what they're dealing with. If I had the chance to talk to Donald Trump, I would run the other way. I'm scared of him like I've never been scared of anything else in my entire life. I can't explain it to you, but the fear of him even being in the next room, I have a panic attack. The last encounter that I had with Donald Trump, Tiffany approached me about a rape scene that was supposed to be played out, and I didn't like the sound of that at all. But Tiffany assured me that it wasn't going to be, if it was anything I wasn't comfortable with, we could stop. That she would be right there, and that it wouldn't get out of hand, and that it was a fantasy, like it wasn't really going to happen. And so I told her that I would.
He asked her to put the clothes on to make her look like
Tiffany
his
was
daughter.
always nice to me.
When he did
It wasn't
this.
that I trusted her, else and I wouldn't always trusted her or done what she asked me to. But she was there, and he came in, and I was basically tied to a bed with pantyhose, and he tied him, and they were so tight it hurt to even like lay there. And I tried to say something, and it was like, you just, shut up, shut up, bitch. It was basically like he was being really, really rough, and I understand. It just didn't seem like a fantasy, and I started to get scared, and he was, basically like ripping my clothes off, and I was actually I got freaked out. I told him that I didn't want to do this. I screamed over for Tiffany. She was like, Mr. Trump, she's only, this is scaring her. And he's like, oh, you shut up too. He just turned into this animal. It was like a completely different person. It was like everyone in the room was scared of him, and I was, it was like I couldn't do anything about it.
So this is Jeffrey Epstein's house.
And
He's supposedly in charge. Truth is, Trump is in charge.
he
And she's saying
ripped
this.
off all my clothes.
Trump
and
is in charge.
He started to basically have sex with me, and I was screaming because I'd never had sex before. It was my first time, and Tiffany was yelling at him too. She was saying that I was a virgin, and he told us to just shut the fuck up, and just basically took my virginity while I was crying and telling him to stop, and that's basically begging for him to just stop. And Tiffany didn't know what else to do either. No one was there to help us, or me. And so after the fact, he basically finishes it. It didn't take that long at all. But it felt like it was like 5.5 hours. It felt like it was an eternity. Like I don't even know how long it was, but he was done, and I was crying, and Tiffany was consulting me, and she was, apologizing. She told me that she just never put me in that situation again. But he comes over mad because I was crying, and he said that I should be thankful that someone like Donald Trump took my virginity. He basically didn't say took my virginity. He said, I should be glad that someone like Donald Trump popped my cherry, and not some pimply little 14-year-old. And I just was like, what if I said, what if I get pregnant? Not even talking to him. I didn't want to talk to him. I was talking to Tiffany. And he said, well, you'll get an abortion then, bitch, and then just walked away. And I told Tiffany I needed to go home. I never went back.
A woman who has accused Donald Trump of raping her at a New York party when she was 13 years old decided to not come forward publicly at a news conference Wednesday, saying that she had received death threats since filing her lawsuit. The threats intensified as the conference date approached. The woman filed a lawsuit in June claiming that Donald Trump raped her in 1994 during a party thrown by Jeffrey Epstein, who was convicted in 2008 for soliciting an underage girl for sex. Attorney Lisa Bloom said that her client will reschedule. While the alleged victim's name is not public, she, along with all of Donald Trump's accusers, have received death threats via individuals tweeting their desire to hurt or kill the accusers.
President of the United States, in office today, killing people daily. Yeah? And, you know, I doubt if this information will go out to very many people, you know, but it's what I do. Yeah? And you're not going to get this on the news, and you're not going to get this here and there. You really got to investigate it like me, and you really got to pull it up, you know? And everything is a timely situation. We're at a very, very incredible, big timing situation. We're going to lose millions of people that are unnecessary to be lost all over the world. This guy is not going to slow down the virus. He's not going to get us tested. Yeah? And he's going to push us into bad behavior. We're going to go along with his bad behavior. His bad behavior will lead to airlines starting up, people getting on airlines and going to other countries and have not been tested. Yeah? And he's lying to everybody. Oh yeah, everybody can be tested. Anybody who wants a test can be tested, but it's not true. You either have to be dying or in the hospital, have major symptoms before you'll get tested. Yeah? You know, so he's lying. He's a liar. Liar, liar, liar. Yeah, maybe you lie too much in order to see this liar. You know, it is overwhelming, the outcome of this planet, you know, the way it's going to go down. Because you have one more year of this guy. One more year. Yeah? At the end of this year, we get to elect again. Yeah? And choose a president. And by that time, we'll be close to 500,000 people died. Yeah. Yeah, and many, many second wave terrible scenarios didn't go away. You know, it's not a flu. It's actually orienting toward many, many other different types of diseases. It's cropping up in a different way and not the same way. Yeah. And it stops the freaking heart. You know, it's something you can't control. There's so many different variables to this according to your age and according to different things that you might have wrong with you. You know, so we're not in a flu. This is not going to just go away. You know, everything he said has been a lie, and it's always going to be a lie. There's never going to be a day that it's not a lie. Yeah. So you need to do something. You know, and I think it's humanity that has to stand up for their own actions. Yeah, and choose not to go along with this guy. Push and force to get tested. Push like crazy. Call your hospital until they go mad at you. Yeah, call every clinic. Yeah, tell them you must be tested by tomorrow. Act like a crazy person. Yeah, force the issue. Get everybody to know that we're not being tested and we need to be tested and nothing's going to be all right until we're tested. Then we need to be able to be tested almost daily. If we're going to go to work, if we're going to go to places, we're going to drive an Uber cab, we're going to do something where we're around people, we have to be tested every day before we go to work. It's just the way it is. It is the way it is. Now, President Trump says it is the way it is. You know, I'm saying it in a totally different way. This is evil. And I understand you can't see it. I understand you elected it. You know, and I understand everything. But you got to step up. Everybody's got to step up. They got to listen to this little girl. They got to realize in his own tape, he admitted to doing all the things he said he's never done. Groping women, raping women, raping little girls, and setting them up to dress up as his daughter when he does it. It's not just gross, that's satanic. Enormous number of demons must be in this man to drive him to that. And openly say it in the house with everybody. Oh my God, she looks just like my daughter. Yeah. Yeah. Epstein was a demon. All the people in that house were demons, and those kids were not. They were innocent little angels, innocent children, innocent people. Yeah. Being used by pedophiles, by the President of the United States. And then he bashes women. He bashed women all along. I don't care if they're ugly women, homosexual women, mean women. He can only bash women. That's all he does. Yeah. And if he says he doesn't, he's a liar. And you know he's a liar because you hear him doing it. He did it to all the women who were on the, the pageant. Yeah. All the women that were in his, thing and when he was on TV. Yeah. Every time the man is expressing something, he's expressing something bad, negative, destructive. He's pulling everybody down into his avarice. He loves avarice. He loves people gathering guns and coming out and saying, no, I don't want to do this. When he's the guy standing there saying, yes, you have to do this. But he's not really saying, yes, you have to do this. He's actually saying, good job. You're good people. And they're the stupidest, dumbest, low-life people that represent America. Yeah. We have a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not proud of it. But shoot, people got to go to school. They got to take time to be better people. And these are a whole bunch of people that don't do that. And they continue staying stupid and ignorant and do stupid, ignorant things. They're mean, they're aggressive, they're hostile. Yeah. They're prejudiced, they're biased. Yeah. They say dirty things to people. They're hateful. Yeah. That's his entire sphere. That's his experience. And yet he's supposed to be rich and wealthy and professional and all these things. Yeah. So it's a matter of people really taking in what I'm saying and understanding that, we've got a demon in the house and he's ahead of the house. Yeah. And he's making decisions for you, making laws against you. Yeah. And, if we continue and have him as the next president of the United States, yeah, I promise you, the devil will do you harm. Yeah. It's your own karma. I can't do anything about it. I can only teach the truth, and the truth will set you free. But you have to choose the truth. There's no free rides here. You can't stand with the devil and stand with Christ at the same time. You cannot do it. Yeah. And the where you're at on one side or the other is really easy to tell if you just take the time to tune in. Yeah. Because it's important. There are millions of people out there that need these tests. Millions of children that need to be seen as people who could be harmed by this virus. Teenagers that could be harmed by this virus. Why do we want to put them in harm's way? Yeah? As angels, we have ways of speaking. Harmlessness, harm's way, things like that. You don't hear any of that coming out of the president. He never speaks the word harm. Keep people out of harm's way. Doing our best to keep you out of harm's way. He'll just jump. Well, it looks like the stock market's going to be pretty good, and I think we're going to have a really good third quarter. What? We're all dying here, sir. You know? No. Actually, you're going back to work. People who have the flu actually just get well sitting around and go to work. That's what he says. That's his mind is thinking like that. He does not care. He is a slave owner. Yeah, he took that 13-year-old girl and bought her and raped her and dressed her up as his daughter. That's what money could buy you. Epstein was one of the richest men on earth. And the people who walked into that house were also very rich. And they get their riches through sex magic and money magic. And you don't even know it exists. And yet it's the foundation of the world. It's the foundation of Hollywood. It's the foundation of Scientology. It's the foundation of the whole world. Yeah. It happens inside of houses, perversion, pedophilia, rape, molestation, sex magic, money magic. Yeah. It's just an insane elemental aspect of demon quality. Yeah. And it has illness to it. If you take demons in, you bring in the possibility of illnesses, viruses, diseases, you know? People who get really, really possessed, as you depossess them in the process of it, they get all these sores all over their body. Yeah? Pimples start popping out, you know? They start getting really ugly because the demons are surfacing. They're purging. They're releasing. Yeah? And it could be that all of this place has leaders of demons that everybody's following, and they're deep inside of everybody. And there's a war going on between heaven and demons. Yeah. And I'm moving 24/7 to heal this earth and bring everybody to Christ. And then there's another side that's working 24/7 to destroy this earth and create as much conflict in people's lives to take them away from Christ. Yeah. From poverty to starvation to illness, suffering, all conflict. That's what the devil brings. On the other side, there's harmony. Yeah. On the other side, there's faith. Yeah. On the other side, there's the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Yeah. But it takes, you have to develop your discernment. I've told you, I've screamed out that who Michael Jackson was. I've screamed out about the Dalai Lama. I scream out about the Pope. And I'm trying to do my best about this guy Trump. And there's so much to be said about him, to be understood and seen. Yeah. If we could see this, I know that by me seeing the demons and not following them, not thinking, oh, even though I'm in Tibetan Buddhism, I'm enthroned in Tibetan Buddhism, well, then I should have allegiance to the Dalai Lama. I should. That's what's expected of me. Everybody asked it. When did you meet the Dalai Lama? You're the Buddha of Tibet. So he won't touch me. He won't talk to me. He won't have anything to do with me. Because he is who he is. And I say all these things. Yeah. And it's the same with Trump. And it's the same with the Pope. All the things that I say are things that you can't see, but in the future you will see. You will see it. Yeah. You will see Michael Jackson for who he really is. You will see Hitler for who he really was, even though you couldn't at the time. Yeah. You'll see Sai Baba for who he really was. It may take 50 years for everybody to come out and all of it to be purged by all those little boys finally going, he really did rape me. At least be able to say it. Get it out. Express it. Every time that's done, it destroys the demon that is forcing it to stay inside. Because that's how demons get in. All these people just sitting around in guilt and not living their lives. Because they were molested or raped and taken by demons. And they can't say anything about it. That's what the demon does. Yeah. So it is a wild ass scenario we're in. We have the virus, and we have Trump, and we have an election coming up. And in the previous election, you had all these people coming out saying Trump is so evil, so bad. He's a ripoff. He's everything that you've all seem to not believe. You all just go, well, no, I don't know. I'll give him. We don't really have anybody else. I really don't want to go with Hillary. And he's the only other guy. Shit, that's terrible. Terrible. Write me in. I'll be the president. I mean, you got to think about this. I'm an American citizen. There's no reason I can't be president. Yeah. But I can only be written in. I'm Jesus Christ. I'm the incarnation of the Son of God. Yeah. There's a thing against church and state. They won't allow me to be president. They won't allow Christ to be president. There's laws against it. Isn't that strange? So you might want to consider that. Now that in the Bible it says Christ is going to appear. Well, what happens once he appears? Is there going to always be these evil kings everywhere? Evil presence everywhere? Do you think he's going to step up and protect us and do something about this? Not if you make laws against him. I left Denmark because there was a law against Jesus Christ living in Denmark. A law. A law. Because if you're higher than the queen or the king, you're to be subjected to death. It's betrayal of the throne. And that includes Jesus Christ. So I left. I wasn't going to be caught because I'm out openly telling people Jesus Christ is coming. In less than a year, I have to tell people that I'm Jesus Christ at that time in the early 90s. So I literally had to leave Denmark for that reason. And I come to the United States, and they have laws against Jesus Christ being a political person, being in any form of politics. So here I am. I'm expected to be teaching out of churches, and I don't want to teach out of churches. I'm expected to be teaching out of here and there, where in reality, I'm in charge. Why not take advantage of that? I live in a situation to where the opportunity of me doing the right thing is pretty high. Tibet, I hold the highest throne seat. I actually am the smartest guy. I actually am the wisest person. I actually am the most loving leader. That's the purpose of a Buddha. It's not what people think. And I'm not asking, I don't really want to be president, but I want to be able to be a part of this, and step in where people are in charge. They got to know that I'm here. And they may think they're in charge, but they're not. And they have to behave. I don't want money. I don't want position. I want people to behave. And if you're going to be in charge, behave. Or you shouldn't be in charge. Because we emanate. And if you're in charge, what you emanate goes into the people you hire and the people who are involved with you. And if you are subjecting people to your life that is not good, all evil, then that goes into the system. And we're all collectively inside that thing. So it's a really good thing for Christ to come forth. That's why they got really angry at me when I was Jesus. I walked into the place and I say, hey, this ain't how it's supposed to happen, and then they get really pissed off and they come and gather me and they said, who do you think you are? You think you're the king, don't you? I said, yeah. Well, finally somebody caught on. I'm the king of heaven, and I'm the king of earth, if this is ever to be spiritual. So they locked me up and beat the shit out of me, hoping that I would stop saying that. And that's why I was put on the cross. Because I went up against the politicians. I went up to people who have the biggest voice, hold the most power, and people elect them into their position. So then they drag me out in front of everybody, and they allow you to elect whether or not I go on a cross. Yeah, because you elect them into their positions. So they just put the power right back onto the people. Yeah. So the same demon, the same power forces are in this avarice. Avarice is what put Jesus on the cross. Avarice is what keeps Jesus being recognized life after life after life. And avarice is what we have in front of us right now. Yeah. Yeah. So to get out of that, you're going to have to take advantage of me. Utilize my spirit. Utilize my will. Utilize my activities. You hear me talking on all this, I'm pretty clear about it. Yeah. So there isn't anything, whether it be Elon Musk and whether or not we should go to Mars. The answer is no. That would save us tens of billions and trillions of dollars in time and energy. Yeah. Keeping us on the path rather than making mistakes. Mistakes that are harmful. I'm only here for harmlessness. I can direct our path through harmlessness. And I am guaranteed to direct our path through harmlessness. I'm guaranteed. But if anybody else pushes this path, trust me, it will not be under the auspicious banner of harmlessness. Because it takes a lot to be harmless. A whole lot. You literally got to be able to fight demons 24/7 in order not to be harmless and in order to make things harmless. Yeah. And that's, a lot of people don't really want to do that. And yet that's what we have to do. There isn't anything at any time that we don't have to do that. Yeah. So I'm due puja. And hope everybody got this, Mr. President. And I'm hoping that, within the next 6 months, something will come up, but I kind of doubt it because of our chaos. Our chaos is going to keep us from looking at this guy, that was with Trump, and Jeffrey, what's his name, Jeffrey Epstein, and even talking about him, it's kind of just fading away, and all the previous processes of Trump, which is 100% involved with Epstein, all that is just fading away. It's like Satan just came in and wants to kill everybody and create chaos so that we would vote without knowing that this is going on. But trust me, the outcome of this, the situation people are going to see, is that Trump is the worst president we've ever had and has made the worst decisions, selfishly, than any human being could ever make. And I doubt very much if he will be voted in, let alone receive half of what he received as vote the last time he was voted in. And then he needs to go to prison. And that's clear. We can't put Epstein in prison, but to close this door, we must put Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life. Yeah? It's not about beating him up, because that's what he would do. That's what he says. In the middle of people, doing their thing, getting angry and everything, he says, just beat that person up. He says it right in the middle of, their conference. Somebody comes in and goes against Trump. He says, just grab him and beat the shit out of him. What? This guy's going to be the president, and he's saying stuff like that? I mean, that's so lowlife. But that's him. He can't help be the demon he is. So you have to tolerate it. You've tolerated homosexuality. You've tolerated transgender. Now you tolerate Satan walking, talking, and expressing himself on a day-to-day basis, with as much pride and ego and avarice that any human being could possibly express. Yeah? And yet, those people who are the minion are there to vote for him. They carry guns. Yeah? They carry signs. They beat on people. They scream real loud. But those numbers in reality are only in the thousands, not the millions. They're not a large mass of people. If you go to a state, you'll only get about 100 people out of a whole entire state that will represent that evil action. Yeah? So it's really not what they represent it to be. They're just the people who are screaming the loudest and taking the highest positions. And then they use us, yeah, to take their energy. Because their energy is negative, so the outcome of his presidency is going to be dramatically negative. Yeah, so we need to do everything we possibly can to understand what I'm saying, to clarify the mind, yeah, to get a proper view, yeah, and stabilize yourself to know, yeah, that people who stand there and say that they're Christians and things like that doesn't mean that they're a Christian. Yeah. When you're a rapist and you're a liar and you're all those things, and just because you say you're a Christian doesn't mean you're a Christian. Yeah. Just because you got people praying over you like Donald Trump doesn't mean that he's chosen. Yeah. It just means that he's putting on the biggest clown act you've ever seen. And you're the audience. And how many people he can sway into thinking that he's doing a good job, which he keeps repeating. We're doing a good job. We're doing really good. Going to come out of this great. Third quarter is going to be the best. He's got these repetitive, constant things he says. Even though we have now 1 million people who've been sick, we have over, 80,000 people close to being dead. Yeah, and he still keeps saying the same thing. We're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing great. Actually, we're doing really great. Isn't that right? I'm #1 on Facebook. That's what he says. Well, you're trying to, what are you going to do about this epidemic? Well, actually, I'm #1 on. And those other guys, they're the ones making the big deal here on this coronavirus. They're trying to keep me from being president. He said that. He blamed the other party for overemphasizing the coronavirus so that people wouldn't vote him for president. He said that shit. Yeah? But it goes through one ear and out the other. And a lot of times, if you have demons in you, you're not there when he says it. TV's off, you're driving, you're doing something else. Yeah? Angels make people say shit. And if you got angels moving within you, you're going to have the revelation to have the right time and the right moment to catch that. And be able to hear the truth. Hear him lie. Hear him say his lies. And it adds up. But if you got bullshit going on, you really haven't got time for the truth outside yourself, yeah, then you're not going to see the working out of the plan. You're going to see nothing. Yeah? And he's going to continue getting away with what he's doing. Because nobody's really paying too much attention. Not that many people knew that he was playing golf most of the time during this coronavirus. But if that was in your heart and you wanted to know this stuff, isn't value and right relationship. We were even given a direction as to how everybody is to deal with going back to work. How to safely go about that. He said, it will never see the light of day. That's what he said. That will never see the light of day. Can you imagine that? And you've never seen it. You only get to see it in the news where it says, these are the points that they said they were going to work on. Yeah? And they came out with all these pages, and each page has the directions for everybody, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a driver in transportation, whether you're a person that works in this area, whether you're all these different things, all these fields that he's saying it's okay to go back to work. But you have to give them instructions as to how to go back to work. But he's not going to do that. He wouldn't do that. He said they'll never see the light of day. So how are you going to cope with that, huh? It's going to go through your ear and out the other. And you're not going to be looking for it when it should be there. And if you are led by God, you would be looking, because this is what God does. God kind of moves you through. You go, holy shit, really? That's what's going on? Wow. Did you see that? No, I wouldn't know. No. Maybe you should, because we're all going to die real soon. Maybe you might want to pay attention to how we're dying. The flames are coming at us. Yeah? Do you want to even consider looking out the window? No, it isn't at the house yet. You know, that's the way it is. You know, because we have this false assumption we're all okay. He tells us we're all going to be okay. A false assumption. Yeah. So you're not going to look up to see if there's a fire there. You're not going to look up to see if he's lying. You're not going to look up and see if there's other directions that we should be taking. Because if you did, it would become a collective consciousness, and it would emphasize into the minds of the government, into your leaders, and all the way around to the White House. It's all about the minds of people. Yeah. But if we just give all this up, thinking, well, you know, they're running this, they're going to take care of it. They're not. You have to get angry, and you have to start calling and asking for tests. 350 million people must be tested. Yeah? 30 million people must be tested every month. And should be weekly. Because that is the way it could be done. It's already been set up. It could be done that way. But, you know, be lucky if we do it a month. But if you look at it, and since it's never being said anymore, but I do, I look at it. And if you look at it, you'll find out that we had 5 million tests that was going to be done. 5 million tests. Yeah? We have not even reached that yet. Yeah? And they said it was already done. But it wasn't. We really didn't have it. Those were assumptions. Those were things that were in the actions of what might happen if it was carried out. And it wasn't carried out. Yeah. So we still have less than 4% of the people of the United States being tested. Yeah. And there's no way we're going to be able to deal with this without testing. You can't deal with this without testing. Yeah. You know, so I'm saying all this because I want people to really think in their mind that, you know, how come I'm not getting tested? You know, and how do I get tested? You know, and can we call a nurse and have them come to us? Because that is the truth. They will do that. But they won't do it unless you ask. You know, you have to ask. Because everybody's just in this, you know, triage thing where they're only taking care of, in their illusion, only the people who are really sick. And yet there's everybody who else is getting sick. So I really think it's better to prevent it than to wait until you find people who are sick. Yeah. So start calling. You know, write letters, send emails. You know, emails is good. Yeah. Okay, so let's do our puja. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ, to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, before we begin meditation, tomorrow, which is Saturday, and every Saturday, I recommend that you fast. Yeah, I recommend that you fast and you get right. Yeah, you try and tune in to things that you may have in the past, that jealousy or enviousness or fear, even fear, anxiety, old thoughts, anything, just try and recognize it, and just relax into it, let it find its way out, let it go, It doesn't have to be anything, you don't have to figure it out, but just tune into yourself and try and make yourself the happiest person you could possibly be all day tomorrow. So that, because that happiness is an element. It's like a virtue. When the happiness is there, it's the only thing in the center point of your cells that knocks out the evil that surrounds it. So it's joy, it's bliss, it's happiness. So you want to foster as much happiness as you can on Saturday. It's your day of rest, and it's God. Think of yourself as working for God, and that every day, your life, you're working for God. You're in service to God every single day, and on Saturday, you're giving thanks to be of service to God, and you are completely at rest. So take that day to be at rest and find joy. Find anything that makes you joy, and find the things that don't make joy and get rid of them. Relax. Let it go. Tomorrow the Sangha and us are going to Hidden Valley. In Hidden Valley we relax. We go out on the boat, we swim, we got things to relax. It's designed for that. Here in the monastery, this is activity. We are constantly active, and we're providing the service to all of humanity. This is the only place that puts out the tools that I put out, and puts out the music that I put out, and puts out the healing to the planet that's put out. So this place is a constant hive of love and energy. So if we all take this as this Saturday as part of the ceremonial reality of the earth, that Saturday is designed specifically. There are 7 days God worked and all this kind of stuff, and there on that day is a specific day that God wants to relax. And that includes you. So when we do that, we're actually purging out anything that keeps us from relaxing. So we can regenerate, gain more faith, more light, more love, and build again when we start again. But we're building from the joy inside of ourselves, that we collect on the day of rest. Does that make sense? So there's a science to this thing, and a lot has to do with what's said in the Bible and what's explained throughout time. It's just a matter of getting these false prophets out of the way, so you could get your actions back, and you could do the things you should be doing, and we can enjoy eating. We can enjoy the food that we're eating, without guilt, without question, where it's actually giving us life and energy and vitality. And we don't get disease. We don't have the aging process. Our kidneys don't fail. Our heart doesn't fail. Our brain does not deteriorate. Our bones do not crack and fall apart. Our blood doesn't turn to cholesterol and all kinds of rocky stones and clog ourselves up. It really doesn't do that. It does, but it's not. We need joy in order to bring vitality. There is an element called levity. And the Lord brings that element to the earth, where everybody's always looking down and in depression, wondering how or why are we here. Levity starts the process of giving you the answer. You stop questioning, you start enjoying, you start appreciating, yeah? Then you start seeing and you start understanding. Does that make sense? But you have to enjoy and you have to appreciate or you will not receive, yeah? And you'll think that this is the tree of, knowledge, and you're not. You're not in the tree of knowledge, you're in the tree of life. So it's that day gives you the ability to connect in, to the ability to be a student through meditation rather than words, because everybody's all built on this intellectual shit, and these liars tell you stuff and you believe it because you never hear the words of truth. Not from me. I mean, no one's hanging out with me that much, so all you have is people's vices coming out of their mouth, and you tolerate it. You just tolerate it. You can't help it. It's inhumane, it's mean, it's inconsiderate, it's selfish, it's demanding, it's got all these weird shits to it, and it really isn't good for any of us to be under those influences. So that's why the influence of the Lord, when we take the Lord in, the Lord has an ability to communicate with us and offset our way of communicating to other people. Our mean, aggressive, cold, whatever it is that's not in the light, but it's in a cloud of darkness. And it expresses that way. And it's always, mean. Just mean. And you can't help it. No one really intends necessarily to be mean. It's the elements in the room. When you say something to a person, the elements in that person enters you, and if there's a problem going on, there's the freedom is not there. They're controlled by the elements. So levity is the thing that helps us all have a better way of relating to each other. Yeah, it keeps us from spontaneously having a negative view and a negative conversation or a negative interaction. Yeah, but we have to build levity. Yeah, does that make sense? Levity. Yeah. In the end, levity sounds like levitation to me. Yeah, and every good master can levitate. Yeah. So if you want to really experience what it's like in space, yeah, it's not an illusion. It's a goal. I'm not going to sit and meditate when nobody else can meditate and levitate. So I will meditate very little, only in small spits of time. Yeah, because by nature it's normal for me to levitate. By nature, if I sit and meditate, I levitate. By nature, and I also dematerialize. I go from one place to another. I have no control over it. It just happens. It's a spontaneous thing. Yeah, if I really spend my time meditating, so I don't. Yeah, because then that would puts everybody in a whole other space. Oh, I can't levitate. I haven't even got levity. Yeah. They really take things lighthearted to lighten your load. Yeah? So, that's how you levitate. You become like a cotton ball. You become nothing. You don't have this or that or all this kind of stuff. The more empty that becomes, the more you become nothing. And there's nothing to hold you down. Because that nothingness means nothing. And this thing is an illusion. And the levitation proves that the body doesn't exist. It's all spirit. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So every major master, as we see in history, we always see images and pictures of these guys sitting and levitating, Kwai Chang Caine and all that stuff. Yeah. It's not an illusion. It's not an astral plane thing. Yeah. It's a real thing. Yeah. But it only happens when it's supposed to happen. It only happens in purified states, in purified locations. It doesn't happen in the public. Yeah, it's very difficult for a master, any master, to sit in the city and levitate. You got to go off to the mountains. You got to go off far, far away. You can't have a conversation with somebody for a very long time. Yeah, nothing, nobody. You don't eat. Yeah, you don't do anything. You wait. and then you levitate. Yeah? But it takes emptiness. It can't have anything holding it down as though life is an attachment. It's not. When you're seeing things in reality, everything is in a fluid state and it's moving. It's alive. Whether it be a tree or a bird or even a rock, it's moving. The earth is... Yeah? Yeah? Even though you think everything is stable and sitting, but it's not. Yeah? Those are the conscious thoughts that go on in the higher mind when you're meditating. You're witnessing everything is not what it seems. And all these things get really clear. And then you don't exist. And that's my experience, yeah? So in the process of you doing these cleansing processes on Saturday and focusing on your joy and your levity and your appreciation, yeah, as that grows, you know, I'll teach you how to do the purification, you know, which is to cleanse yourself of the impurities that come with the curse. Yeah. And illuminating that, you know, you have more opportunity for every Saturday, and every time that you go through your processes, you have more opportunity to cleanse, more opportunity to try and give yourself nothingness. Yeah. Enjoy from being nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Does it make sense? All right, now let's meditate. Okay. Okay, just relax. Okay, you can open your eyes. So if there's anything that I have to share with you in this teaching, is that the man named Jeffrey Epstein is someone we really wanted to get a hold of. Yeah, and we really wanted to find all those who use his service and find those young girls and help them so that they don't have to spend the rest of their life holding this in on themselves and worried about whether or not their parents are going to find out or anybody's going to find out. They're better off to be able to tell the truth and have something done about it and be put in the right position as a victim. Yeah, so there's a lot in order to help that make manifest, and the key thing is to understand that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. He's dead. He's gone. But all the people are in his books, and they're on video, and there are pictures, and he has his assistant who collected all the people, and there are at least 12 people who worked for him at all times, who were the aide and assistant to our president, Donald Trump. None of these people have any loyalty to Donald Trump. Yeah? It was Jeffrey they had the loyalty to. Yeah? And he's dead. And now they're all going to go down the tube. Yeah? And they're the only ones left. So the police, the government, the court system is going to do everything they can to capture as many people as they can and unravel this thing as much as they can. But you have to stand clear that by no means can Donald Trump walk free when he and Jeffrey Epstein were in charge of this for over 14 years. It wasn't until Donald Trump was put up against the wall by this young lady, and she said she was coming out, which was just 6 or 7 months before the election. And then he threatened to kill her and everything, kept that from going on. Yeah. But that whole process has had nothing, and the last thing he expected was Epstein to be caught again and for this to come out. So before, hopefully, we get to this next election, all this stuff will start coming forward because all of you want to know the truth. Give up on extraterrestrials, yeah? Give up on going to Mars. And let's stop the demons. Let's take in deep consideration that the demons do exist. They incarnate, and they behave like demons, and they're not going to change. They're not going to change. So you don't hire one and think you're going to train them to change them. That's what a lot of people do. They marry demons thinking they're going to change them. And you don't. You don't change them. They ruin you. They take you down. Then they sue your ass. Yeah? And you walk away devastated, never really trusting another relationship again. Yeah? So we need to clean this planet up. We need to discern, discriminate. We need to take the time to know who we're going to hang out with. And you better have some joy when you're hanging out with that person. Because everybody's got demons, and don't select a person who's got more demons than you do. Clean your demons up, clean them out well enough so you'll attract people who are good and kind and harmless. You deserve it. Everybody deserves it. Yeah? But you're never going to get it if we have a president who is one of the head demons on the planet, and you follow a church like the Catholic Church that's as fully set on demonology as you can get. And you think that the Dalai Lama is an okay guy while he's doing things like Dorji Chungden and all the other things that he's doing. You know, just can't see all the harm. The harm. It's all about harm. You must see the harm. Alcoholics are harmful. Drug addicts are harmful. Angry people are harmful. If you take someone out on a date, yeah, and it's your first date, yeah, and you're sitting there and they're having a bit of a struggle going over the menu, and then the waitress or waiter comes up, pay attention to how they behave. How do they treat that waiter? How do they treat that waitress? Are they kind? Are they considerate? Are they sweet? Are they making a friend? Or are they just expecting this person to serve them and treat them coldly in an aggressive manner? And then don't really care about how much they treat them, because that really, it's like 10% really, you know? It's 15% people, yeah? But they're really lucky to get 10% out of you. Yeah. So you got to really choose your date, yeah, because it could ruin your night and it could ruin your life if you don't make right decisions. Choose the sweetheart. I don't care if it takes a whole lifetime to finally be sitting down with one who talks to the waiter and the waitress in the most sweetest, comforting, casual manner. Stick to that one. Yeah? And enjoy your life, because God's handed you your opportunity to not go through hell. Because this person's going to treat you like a slave, just like they treat the waiter and the waitress. Everybody outside of them gets treated that way. This is the opportunity. Whenever you go to eat, you have an opportunity to see the worst or the best in a person as to how they treat the waiter or the waitress. And it's true. How do they deal with the menu? Are they all picky and pokey and assholey? Or do they just make it right and straighten it out and calmly order it and try and get what they need? You know? Or are they over-expecting? What kind of people are you to be... Why don't you serve it like this? I would eat it if you did. You know? Who cares? Who wants to hear that shit? Yeah? Does it make sense? Yeah, so all of that is how you collectively choose your boss. That's how you collectively choose your best friends. That's how you collectively choose a date you want to now have another date with. Yeah. Because you're harmless. Yeah. And you don't want to just think everybody's harmless, because they're not. Pay attention. If they're not harmless, step back. Yeah. One date does not make you married. You know, one-time kiss does not make you a husband or a wife. Yeah, keep stepping back and witness what's going on. Yeah, that'll allow you discernment and allow you to make sure your life is a good life. Yeah. All right. That's a nice teaching. Okay, enjoy, please, everybody. Do your best.